Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So today it is time for the 1000 subscribers Q&A, where I answer the questions that you have that you would love for me to answer. So I wanted to give this an entire month so that anybody could come up with any thoughts that they had to ask me about anything, whether it be myself, whether it be RWBY, whether it be anything anime related, or just anything in general. So anything you would want to ask me, I will answer for you. And before I get started with answering your questions, one thing I do want to say is I do want to make this a monthly thing. So what I want to do is each month, at the end of every month, I want to have a Q&A for all of you so that you can get my thoughts on things. You can ask me about anything you'd like, get to know me better. I think it'd be a lot of fun, and I would just love to do that, and hopefully you all would too. And it gives everybody a chance to ask me anything they want. So I thought that would be an excellent thing to start doing from this point forward. So hopefully each of you would like that as well. I think it'd be fun, and I hope you all would think it'd be fun too. But if you do have any questions you would like to ask me, I will have a Q&A at the end of next month, and just leave it in this video, and I will definitely look at it, and I will try to answer all your questions to the best of my abilities. So without further ado, I hope you all enjoy, sit back, relax, and let's go ahead and get into the questions. So the first question is from Christopher Capers Jones, and he asks, I have a question for your Q&A. What are your thoughts on the possibility for a Silver-Eyed Warrior using Maiden powers and Silver-Eyed Warrior powers at the same time? What do you think would happen if that were to take place? Good question. If I had to say, first off, I think that since you have the Maiden powers, which are godlike powers, and the Silver-Eyed Warrior powers, and seeing that they have to activate on the Grimm, which it seems like that's a retcon if they're going forward with that, considering that in Volume 4, Salem did state that the Silver-Eyed Warrior powers does actually work against the Maidens and it's effective on them. Salem never went into detail on how they're effective exactly, but that's why Cinder came out with the injuries that she did. It's kind of interesting to think of how that would exactly work, but I would think that would be extremely overpowered, and seeing that it would be probably on a Grimm subject, that would be just completely destructive to the Grimm, and I don't think anything would be left. I think it would just be just a catastrophe for the Grimm. So really, I just think that it would be a really overpowered, godly moment that would just be ridiculous to actually see in action. But yeah, seeing how that would work would be very interesting. It would certainly be something to see for sure. Next question is from Inigo. Congratulations, mate. You deserve all the subs you got. Well, thank you very much. I truly do appreciate the support. Q&A. What is your name and address? What do you look like? And what does your credit card look like? Be very descriptive on that last one. Okay, so my name is... Hey, wait a minute! On a more serious note, why did you choose Draco Lord Nick 67 as your channel name? Good question. So, there are a few reasons why I chose Draco Lord Nick 67 as my profile name. So, Draco Lord is because I actually like dragons. I like to study different religions and mythologies, and dragons out of mythical creatures are my favorite. So I chose that because I really do enjoy dragons. So that's one thing. And also, if you know the Pokedex, the number 6 is Charizard, which is actually my favorite Pokemon of all time, so that's why the 6 is in there. And the 7 is to kind of show that I am a fan of Fairy Tail, and I'm a big fan of Hiro Mashima and his work. I really do enjoy Fairy Tail, and I also just adore his original series, Rave. So there's that. And Inigo goes on to ask, back on the less serious note, who are the other 66 Draco Lord Nicks, and where can I find them? You know, there was a specific order that I remember. I think it was called Execute Order 66. And all I had to do was think, do it. And so, yeah, I think that can kind of give you a little bit of an idea where the others went. No, but anyways, moving on to the next question. PK Meezy, I hope I said your name right this time. If I didn't, I apologize. So I'm sorry if I butchered your name. But PK asks, what will happen to the channel when RWBY ends? Now, this is a very good question. So, one thing that I've always wanted to do, which I love talking about RWBY, and I've also wanted to talk about other anime because I really do love anime. I watch anime whenever I get the chance, and I just I've always loved anime. I always have. So, that's one thing I would like to do more of in the future. And I've also wanted to talk about pop culture because many of you may already know, and if you don't already, then, well, there are a bunch of issues that go on within pop culture, and I wanted to talk about some of these issues, but, that's just a thought that's going through my mind sometimes, but that's just me. But yeah, those are some things I would like to really talk about also in the future, maybe sometime down the road. But yeah, very good question, PK. Thank you very much for asking. Synchron180 asks, what motivated you to start YouTube? Ah, yes. Very good question. This is actually kind of interesting. So, for a long time, I had never even really thought about doing YouTube. In fact, I, just kind of was thinking about things, and I thought it would be kind of interesting to just make content people can enjoy. And I thought this would be kind of fun, and, I could make videos that maybe people would be entertained by and could learn from and just maybe just really enjoy. And so I started doing it back in October 4th of 2017, and it just was so much fun, and I just enjoyed talking to everybody, being able to talk to other people because, I don't really have very many people I get to talk to about certain things, and, even finding people with the same interests. So whenever I started this channel and started talking to other people, making friends, it was really awesome, and it's just become so much fun, and I just enjoy making content to this very day, and I just enjoy hearing from all of you and talking to all of you. I mean, the highlight of my day is when I get to talk to everybody. So, and I just hope that I make entertaining content that people love, that people enjoy, and who knows, maybe I could motivate other people as well to do the same. And that is something I've always kind of thought about. Then again, when I was 15 years old, I always kind of wanted to be someone to entertain others through creativity. And I guess in a sense, finally, I'm now getting to do that. So, it's a really cool thing that kind of eventually got to happen. And I really enjoy it. And, it always makes me happy to know whenever you all enjoy the content as well. And I mean, that's just one of the most fun things. And another thing that motivated me, which is going to be kind of hilarious, is the YouTuber Etika. You all probably know him. Maybe some of you do, some of you don't. But, oh man, he is hilarious. I have been subscribed to that guy for as long as I can remember. And yeah, he's had his crazy moments, but I really do like him. He's a really cool YouTuber, I think. But yeah, those are really what have motivated me. And also Monty Ohm, definitely can't say that he didn't. He certainly motivated me 100%. He was one of them. So, I have to thank Monty for that one. He just has always been a spark that really kind of fueled me to try to entertain others. So that's another thing that really motivated me. But most importantly, I just want to bring joy to others. I want others to be happy with the content I make. I really hope that it's fun and something people can learn from, and it's entertaining. That's something that is very important to me also. But yeah, very, very good question, Synchron 180. So moving on to the next question. Auto Charge. What inspired your intro and outro? Whenever I watch one of your videos, you always start it off the same and end the same, and it's always nice. Thank you, and have a wonderful day as well. Well, thank you very much, Auto Charge. I appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful day too. And I hope all of you watching this have a wonderful day. Well, there's kind of a story behind that. I'm not going to get too heavily into that story, but growing up for me was very difficult. It was not easy. I went through a lot of events in my life that were very hard for me, that were some pretty harsh experiences. And the one thing that kept me going every day was I would just hope for a better tomorrow. To not have to continue to go through misery, that maybe there'd be some ray of hope that I could get within the next day, even if I had a bad day that very day. And I always hope that everyone has a wonderful day, because when you don't, it sucks. And it's never fun to be miserable. It's never fun to suffer. And that's why I always hope that everybody has a wonderful day, because, it can always get better. I mean, people can go through very terrible situations, and you know, even when it feels like all hope is lost, things can change. And I learned that over time that they really can. You have to work at it, and if you at least try by trying to be positive, it can sometimes make your day better. And to always hope that things can change and always hope that they can get better and that the next day going forward can be better, because you can't change what happened yesterday. So all you can do is move forward to make a better future, and that's really something that was a reason why I always hope for a better tomorrow, and that's why I always say I hope everyone has a wonderful day, because I really do. And if today wasn't a good day for people, I hope that tomorrow is better than what today was, because there's always hope. There's always hope that things can change and that they can get better. And it's just a big reason. It's something that I kept trying to tell myself and try to hope that things can get better. And they can. They really can. You just have to really believe that they can. And if so, and if you work at it, then they really will. And that's the reason why I actually say that in all my videos. So, that's why I always hope the best for everybody. That's why I always hope that everybody has a great day. And if they don't, because everybody has their bad days, I understand that too. But even so, I just hope that if today wasn't a good day for somebody, I hope that the next day is. And that's why I always say that, because I do hope the best for everyone. And I do hope that if that day wasn't wonderful, then I hope that it will be wonderful the next day. So that's why I always say that, because I always want all of you to have a wonderful day. And if it's not good, I really do hate that, and I really hope that it gets better for you tomorrow. So that's why I always say that. So sorry, it's a little gloom there, but that's why I always say it, because I hope the best for everybody, and I do hope you all have a wonderful day. And if it wasn't a good day, then I definitely hope that tomorrow is better for all of you. So, going on to the next question, GK01 Incidental Disconnect asks, what's your favorite anime? Oh boy, now that's a big one. Oh, there's so many anime I've seen. That's really hard for me to even answer that question. I mean, some of my favorites really include things like Cowboy Bebop, which is one of the best, if not the best anime ever created, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Fairy Tail, Code Geass, Maria Holic, Konosuba. Man, there's so many I could say. Trigun, Samurai X. Man, there's so many. I don't know. That's honestly a hard question for me to answer. I'd really have to think about that one. I'm not really sure how to answer that. I might just do a top 10 list eventually in the future of what my favorite anime could be, because there's so many that I've seen, and there's so many I'm still catching up on. Oh, I don't know how to answer that question right now. I mean, those are just some of my favorites I could really say right now. Oh, I don't know. I'd have to get back to you on that question. So, but yeah, that's a very, very hard question for me to answer, but very good question. Very good question for certain. Another question from Tyler Rusnak. Like I said, I hope I'm not butchering your name, so I apologize if I'm butchering it. Q&A, how did you get into RWBY? I got into it on the most convoluted way. I play Left 4 Dead 2 a lot and like mods. There was a mod that turned the common zombies into Beowulf Grim, and they looked like really cool monsters. One thing led to another, and I decided to check out the series due to some reviews, and I loved it. This was in this last December. I actually already knew about the series, but only music, and I thought it was a magical girl band type of show like Winx. Boy, was I wrong, but it's my favorite show. Oh, good question. Very good question. So, I really enjoyed Monty's animation. I really did like Dead Fantasy, and I also really liked what he did in Red vs. Blue with the text fight, for example. That was fantastic in Season 10. Monty was a animation genius. I mean, he was a prodigy for an animator, that's for certain. And so I remember I was actually on Xbox with a couple of friends, and we were actually waiting for a trailer to come out by Rooster Teeth. And I remember back in 2012, November 5th, I believe it was, when the RWBY trailer came out, and I remember the red trailer. That was beautiful, and I absolutely loved that trailer. And to this very day, I still love that trailer. And Monty's beautiful animation just it sings. It's fantastic. I to this very day love that animation that he did, and yeah, Monty may not have been perfect, but his animation was certainly superb. It was excellent. And to this very day, I think there are very few animators that are up to par on his level. I think that he was one of the best animators that I've ever seen in my entire life. And even after Monty's passing, I still don't feel that Rooster Teeth has done as good of an animation job as Monty did. I mean, there are still some really good fights from time to time, but I still don't think they live to the level of Monty and how good of an animator he actually was. And to this very day, I miss Monty. His passion, his drive, they were fantastic. And to think he started animating when he was 11 years old. I mean, that's insane. I mean, it shows you how much time and effort he put into it. And his fights really prove that. And that's the biggest thing that drew me into RWBY. But I did start with the red trailer the night that it came out. I remember November 5th, 2012, very, very clearly. And that's something that will never leave my mind ever. I will never forget how speechless I was after I saw the red trailer. And how truly fascinated I was with Monty's work. And I just immediately fell in love with the series right then and there. And it was just beautiful to me, and seeing Monty's animation just made the show just live. It made it so beautiful. But yeah, good question. Very, very good question. So moving on to the next question, Luke Skywalker the second. He says, man, 1,000 subscribers is one huge milestone, and this is one channel that has more than deserved above all else, and I want to say thank you, Draco. Well, thank you very much as well. Thank you for your support. Thank you for bringing us this amazing channel that talks about the amazing thing that is RWBY, and for making such a wonderful and amazing community that you have such amazing respect and care for, and I am honored to be a part of it. Here's to 1,000 and more beyond. Thank you very much, Luke Skywalker II. I truly do appreciate those kind words, and I appreciate your support. Thank you very much. And for my Q&A questions, why did you model your wonderful channel after Neo? Well, I mean, it's Neo, the ice cream queen. You scream ice cream, we all scream for ice cream. But seriously though, I've always enjoyed Neo's character, and you can really tell her personality through her body language. And I really liked that. I've also liked her fighting style. It's very interesting, and it stands out. Not only that, but it's really like Neo is the rule of cool that Monty had. And I always love seeing Neo's interactions when she's on screen, because even though she can't talk, what I love is just seeing how she reacts to things or tries to communicate with her body language. And it really shows off a lot of her own personality through her body language. And I really love that about Neo. And I just love Neo in general. She's just fantastic, in my opinion. But that's why I did it, because I really, really love Neo's character. But the next question is, what other things are you extremely passionate about besides RWBY, i.e. other amazing stories, movies, and such? So, I really do love Rave, Hiramashiba's first work. I adore that series so much. I adore that series to death. I really do love it. When it comes to movies, I really do love Star Wars. I just hate what has happened to it. But I love the originals, and to an extent, I really do enjoy the prequels. But this new stuff from Star Wars, I can't stand it. I don't like it. The only thing I really would say I like is Rogue One, and that's still not up to par to the prequels in my opinion, or most certainly the originals. But that's just my personal opinion there. I do love the Legends lore to Star Wars. The Thrawn trilogy was fantastic. I love the character Thrawn. He is fantastic. He is an excellent character, so intelligent and such a strategist. I really enjoyed Thrawn. I also love Darth Bane's trilogy. Man, Darth Bane was such an excellent Sith and one of my all-time favorite Star Wars characters. Period. I also love Revan as a Sith. I mean, I was just invested in the Star Wars series in general. I love Knights of the Old Republic. Just so many good stories that came from the Legends side of Star Wars that I just love those stories. They're fantastic. On to the next part of his questions. Are you a fan of Lord of the Rings or any Tolkien related work? And if not, I highly suggest you get to his incredible world and story. It's beyond amazing. So, I haven't gone back on Lord of the Rings in years, but I do like Lord of the Rings. It's just been such a long time, and I do think it's a fascinating world. It's very interesting. I actually do like it. So yeah, I actually am a fan of Lord of the Rings, but like I said, I just have not gone back on it in a while, and I really need to go back on it and study back up on Lord of the Rings all over again. But yes, I actually do like the series. Next part of his question: do you read a lot of books, comics, and manga? Oh yes, all the time. I love comics and manga the most because I grew up off comics, and so with that, I always just love superhero stuff. I even got into Star Wars comics a lot. Manga is something I also grew up with, and I love manga to death. I read manga all the time today. And with comics, there are so many problems that go on with the industry and so many problems that go on with comics. It saddens me to see what has happened to comics and what it's become. But I do love older stuff from DC and Marvel. I don't really like their current stuff, but their older stuff, yes. Like if you go back to like the 80s, oh man, such fantastic comics back then. But yeah, it's just a tragedy to see what's happened currently with the comics. But manga, I still love to death. I read manga a lot, and I really enjoy manga. I absolutely do. But yeah, so there are some things I read, and books. Every once in a while, I'll read something, but I haven't read actual books in a while. It's been more so manga, if anything. But yeah. And last but not least, I know this is a way too early to say, but when RWBY ends some years from now, do you think it should end on a happy ending or a bittersweet one? Like, say they beat Salem, but one of the main four die. Do you think that that could work in the context of the tone and narrative of RWBY itself? Okay, so how I see that is it could work. I think that either A, they could kill off RWBY and the other team members live, and it would be very bittersweet and sad to see RWBY die, or they could kill the rest of Team RWBY and RWBY be the only survivor, and she loses everything in the end just to try to end the crisis. Now, that would be interesting as well. It'd be a very tragic ending. I mean, yeah, in the end, Remnant would be saved, but it would be such a huge sacrifice to make it happen. I think that that could still work, but I don't think they'll do that. But I think that would be a very interesting way to end it if they were to go on a bittersweet note. And it could be just so tragic, but yet it could be so very interesting at the same time. So I could see it being possible, but I don't think the writers will do that, honestly. I really don't see them doing that because I don't think that they would want to do something like that. But, you know, I think that that would be interesting if they did do something like that, though. Next question comes in from Majin Ketsu, and they ask, okay, when you look up hentai, which RWBY character you end up seeing the most? Oh, I don't know. Oh, man. Oh, I don't know, but I haven't tried to look, so I wouldn't know, but that's a very funny question. I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going. Anyways, so next question is yet again from Tyler Riznak. Like I said, I hope I'm not butchering your name. If I am, I apologize. Q&A, if you could ask Monty something, what would it be and why? Okay, so if I were to ask Monty something, I would probably ask him what inspired him to become an animator and do what he did. You know, inspired him to create his own series. I would actually genuinely want to know that. I would be very interested in who or what his inspiration may have actually been. I think to a certain degree anime was, but I don't think that was the full inspiration. I think there was way more to it than that, but I can't answer that, so I don't know. But it would be very very interesting to know what his inspiration was, and I would love to know that. That's something that would be a question I would most certainly ask Monty. 100%. Very good question. That's something that really made me think for a long time. Definitely a good question. So Luke Skywalker II had another question, and his question was, have you ever seen the film Blade Runner? It's one of my all-time favorite science fiction films, and is one of my most favorite films in general, and it has such a deep atmosphere and very thought-provoking story. The sequel 2049 is almost as amazing and thought-provoking as well. Yes, I have actually seen Blade Runner. I love the original Blade Runner. Harrison Ford was absolutely fantastic in that film. If anybody has not seen that, I would certainly recommend that movie. Blade Runner is fantastic, and I mean the original. The original was so good, and yes, it was very thought-provoking. I really do enjoy Blade Runner. I do like science fiction, so I think that that's a very good movie to bring up. I certainly agree with you. That is most definitely a very good movie. And that was a good question for certain. Ashar MGTOW. If you were going to switch the girls from Doki Doki Literature Club with any of the girls from RWBY, who would they be? Funny that I was thinking of replacing Monica with Pyrrha. Okay, so that's a very interesting question. I have to agree with you. Monica and Pyrrha would make perfect sense. I could actually see that working. I think that would work. And how their designs with the hairstyle, it actually makes sense that Pyrrha would actually replace Monica if you were to replace a RWBY character with someone from Doki Doki Literature Club. Not only that, I think that Weiss would be the one to replace Natsuki. I think that would make perfect sense. Sayori, I feel like, would just be either Ruby or Nora. I kind of like the idea of Nora more, but Ruby I think would also make sense for that. So either one of them I could really think would replace Sayori. And then when it comes to Yuri, I think one that would be really funny for that replacement would actually be Blake. I mean, could you imagine seeing Blake like Yuri? I mean, they're similar, so I could actually really see that working out. So I think that would actually be who I'd replace the characters from Doki Doki Literature Club with if I were to swap the characters from RWBY with Doki Doki Literature Club. I think that would be very interesting, actually. Or I just might make Neo Monica. That would be pretty awesome in my opinion. But anyways, so the next question is Maverick Hunter Zero, and what he stated was, you really deserve those subs. Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate that. I appreciate your support. I've been here since your Mercury video. Oh, yeah, I do like the way they've treated Mercury, to be fair. As for the Q&A, do you hate Cinder as much as most of us do? Well, personally, I don't. I don't actually hate Cinder's character. I actually like Cinder from volumes 1 through 3 the best. I really liked how she was trying to expose Ozpin and Atlas, as well as the kingdoms, for what they were trying to hide from the people. I think that was actually great. And I really liked the plot line that she had in Volume 3, but then Volume 4 through 6 has been weird for Cinder's character, in my opinion, because I don't feel like they've treated her right. I mean, Volume 4 it seemed like she was starting to get development, and then Volume 5 is where I really didn't like how they treated her because she contradicted her own character, and she was solely just based off revenge for Ruby when Cinder was more than that. So I really had problems with Cinder post Volume 3, and Volume 5 was really the worst of it, I think. And Volume 6 did try to kind of get her back to being her intelligent, plot-scheming self, but the revenge plot is still there, and I'm not a fan of that part. But I see Cinder kind of like the Darth Vader of the series, and that's kind of how I've always seen her since Volume 2 and onward, when we started to get to know her own character in a sense. I mean, yeah, there are differences, but she's like the Darth Vader of RWBY. So that's kind of the way I see it, at least. I mean, it's fine if you disagree with me. And you don't have to like her if you don't want to. Everybody has their own opinion on characters. But, you know, I do like Cinder personally, but that's just me. But the other question that came from Maverick Hunter Zero is, if you could redesign one of the characters in RWBY, who would it be and how would you change them? Now, this is also a good question. So, if I had to take anybody and redesign them, it would be Yang. I really don't like her new design after Volume 4 and onward. and nowhere close to a fan of it. One thing that I would have done personally is I probably would have made her at least have a jacket so that she could conceal her right arm and make her wear a full length glove over her right arm. I would have at least changed that and probably gave her like a shoulder guard. I think that would have been kind of interesting. But the way she looks, I am just not really a fan of it. I mean, it just doesn't shout Yang to me. It just doesn't feel like her character really. But, that's just me. But I would change her at least in the design of when it comes to her wearing a new jacket, a full length jacket over her right arm at least. Maybe the left side could be kind of cut a little bit. And she could have a shoulder piece on her right arm, and then a glove that really conceals her hand so that the long sleeve that would be different from the sleeve on the left side over her right arm, it could conceal that arm, and then she could have a glove over it to conceal that she has a robotic arm. I think that would have been a lot better personally. So that's just my opinion though. But good questions, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I would like to do it again at the end of each month. So if you do have any questions you would like for me to answer during any of the Q&As, just put them in the comment section down below of this video, and I will definitely look over them. I would be happy to answer any questions that any of you have for me. That would be excellent. And I really hope you all enjoyed this as much as I have. And this is something I would gladly love to do more often for all of you. I think it'd be a load of fun. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow can always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you, and have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.